Welcome to the G.A.B. This is G.A.B.
They should have never gave you platforms.
On to the next segment. Wait, we about to get into the SAF segment, and I gotta talk about this series right here. This series right here, Resident Evil on Netflix. I felt indifferent about this show. Like, to me, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. Like, at parts I was like enjoying the shit, but then there was parts where I was just like, what the hell is this? And since I'm a stat teacher, let me hit y'all with the stats. Alright. IMDb gave it a 3.6. Goddamn. Wow. 3.6? Good lord. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 51%, which means it wasn't fresh. And the people gave it 54%. And I'm gonna say frick those to everybody. Frick everybody. Cause I'm kind of in agreement with y'all. Like, it was kind of just like, you feel me? This came out July 14, 2022. Alright? This was created by Andrew G.A.B. The cast consists of Lance Reddick. He's a great actor. Alright? He's been in a lot of great things. You feel me? He was Albert Wesker. And the thing about this shit, I'm like, I'm glad y'all trying to bring a black man as an empowered, but Albert Wesker was a white dude in the game. Sorry. Ella Balanska, she was older Jay Wesker. Paolo Nunez, she was Evelyn Marcus, and she was ruthless. Woo! And then Sienna Agadong, I'm butchering names, my bad. She was young Billy Wesker, and then Tamara Smart was young Jade Wesker, and they had hella more. And like I said, I felt indifferent. This was neither good or bad art in this case. Some parts were really good, some parts were really bad. I really enjoyed how they tried to bring in a new aspect, and it was like a new Raccoon City, and it didn't really try to like correlate with like a new game or a game, anything like that. Like, people out there, Resident Evil is a video game. It's based off a video game where a virus happened and it spread throughout the city and it turned these people into zombies. But here they try to make it seem like they're not zombies, really. They're like, it changes the molecular whatever in the person's brain and turn them into like just somebody that is just solely focused on eating people, basically. That's what it was. So, I mean, I like that part. I like how they brung in the creatures. They had the big ass spider. They had the big ass alligator, like how it was in the damn video game. They had the zombies. They had the what else did they have? They had the big ass like slug thing and worm, and that's what the T virus did to animals. It made them bigger. It made them more vicious. They had the dog. You feel me? The canine that was in the video game. And they had the lickers. You know, the lickers lick the shit out you. God damn it! You feel me? The creatures were like, and how they constructed them, to me was dope. I really appreciate that. That's what I really like. What I didn't like was really how they try to change the race of certain characters. Like I said, Albert Wesker or whatever, he was a white dude. They made him a black dude. And then when they brought the goddamn original character in, oh my god, bro. How they gonna have a knockoff Blade? Bruh came in as a knockoff Blade, bro. I was like, what the hell? Is this Wesley Snipes? I'm like, nah, this And then they try to make him like he made clones of himself and shit like that. And I'm like, what? Oh my God. And then, they make clones. You make a clone out of a clone. They get stupider. And I was like, oh God. Wow. But then, like, what I did appreciate was like the storyline. Storyline was pretty good. I personally think that I see what they were trying to do. Jump from time to time, jump from the future, like 20 years after they call it the end, and then a couple years before the end. I saw they were trying to do the jump time with that. Personally, y'all could have just kept it linear and then had the story from when Jay Wesker and Billy Wesker and stuff like that when they were younger, and then have it till when they were older. It would have worked out the same. I think it would have worked out better because at parts they kind of made it confusing, and I didn't like that shit. It kind of confused me, and then once I started, I was like, oh, okay, that's who's okay. You feel me? But yeah, the storyline was kind of dope to me. Whereas like a new Raccoon City, a whole new outlook on stuff, a whole new outlook on Umbrella. Umbrella was trying to make really like their cover story was they make products for kids and products and stuff like that, and they made other drugs like for anxiety, and they may try to make truth serums and stuff like that. But the underlying of them is like Umbrella's still Umbrella. These niggas still trying to make a biochemical weapon. That's what they really was trying to do. They were trying to make a bioweapon. That's where the T-virus come in. And essentially, our Wesker character was like he made his daughters to keep himself alive because he used the blood of his daughters and stuck it in his neck because he was a clone of the original Albert Wesker. And the original Albert Wesker, they said, died in some plane crash or whatever. He freaking died. So, but this clone made daughter clones, twin clones, and yeah, they showed their story. And like, the high school list stuff or whatever, I'm not really into that shit. Like, they could have done without that. Like, they had their little high school drama and they melodrama and shit like that. It was, whatever. But the dynamic between the twins and how, like, they showed young Billy and how she was trying to be like a good person in society kind of turned her into an evil person. And you saw that down the line how, like, when she got older, she actually became like the head of Umbrella and became conniving and evil. And she even like damn near basically killed her twin sister. You feel me? Like shot her and took her daughter. And how like Jade, how she was at first, she was shown as like cynical and things like that, but down the line she became more like somewhat optimistic and wanted to find a cure for the T-virus. But she still was stuck in her own ways. Like she was stuck in her, like it was like her world, her show. And that ended up biting her in the ass in like one scene where instead of her just waiting, they found out they had this spray or whatever, or they figured out this formula where they could spray on themselves and the zombies won't go after them. And then they have another spray or whatever formula where they spray and the zombies gravitate towards that. And instead of her just waiting a couple of days, to see how this worked, she took a zombie, took it in a room, and used the spray. And then her daughter came in, was like, what the f*** you doing? And then she was like, oh, stay over there. And then the zombie got loose, and the zombie ended up killing her coworker and one of her good friends. And now all hell broke loose. Yeah. That was her problem at times. You feel me? And then Evelyn was she had a singular focus. And super villains always have just a singular focus and don't think about the consequences of what could happen. But her singular focus was like, we could change the world. We gonna change the world. watch how we change the world. That was her whole focus. She didn't care how much damage she would have done, how much destruction could happen because of this. All she cared about was, oh, I'm going to create this drug, and these drugs are going to change the world, and fuck anybody else that comes in my way. And basically, when you see in the future, Evelyn is being controlled by Billy. And now at times, Evelyn is kind of like, oh, she's still getting in her state of mind with like, nah, I'm going to control you motherfuckers. But at this point, Billy is running the show. And I think another place where they kind of fucked up at is, since the story is not linear, it has a hard time tying in like, well, when did Billy become the head honcho? And I know what they're trying to do is they're trying to drag it out so it can have a couple more seasons. But it's like, nigga, like, real talk, if y'all did it the right way, this shit could be done in like maybe 2 seasons. But they're trying to drag it out for 3 or 4 seasons. I know what the fuck y'all trying to do. All right. But that was the thing. That's why I didn't like the whole jumping back and forth, because it made confusing parts like that. Like, okay, when did that happen? Or the whole thing. Like, I kept getting confused on like who Jade was with. I thought Jade was messing with Evelyn's son, because Evelyn's son was helping out, younger Jade and Billy to discover, what was happening with Umbrella. But it turns out that it wasn't even him. He ended up getting killed by Evelyn. Evelyn killed her own son because her son got bit by Billy. And they also didn't really explain that. Like, Billy got bit by the dog, and the whole time you thinking Billy's going to change into a zombie. But she never does. So I know they're going to explain that down the line in another season. But I wanted that explained this season. And essentially, it's like, okay, who... Some of these characters I just get confused with. You feel me? And so then it's like you start questioning like, what is some of these people motives at times? I was kind of questioning. I was like, what is their motive? Like, some people, they motive, like Evelyn, her motive. Wesker, his motive. But like the like Jade at times, it's like, I thought she was trying to create a cure or find a way to cure the T virus to help her sister. But then as you find out, like, no, the sister is running an umbrella corporation, so what's the point? You feel me? Like, I don't know, man. So it was kind of confusing at times. Yeah, confusing at hell. But that was my gripe with the shit. It's like the confusion of jumping from story to story, and some people motives is like, but like the like I said, the creature creation, dope as hell. You feel me? Kind of the storyline they were going with, pretty dope. You feel me? But they did have a lot of potholes in this series and stuff like that, and they weren't really going along with the game. If you played the games before, it was like they're throwing in characters that like didn't match with the game storyline, or even with the storyline, or like they had one zombie that was like controlling the other zombies, and that never happened in the video game at all. Like, the zombies were just mindless. So for this zombie to have some type of control and be a queen, it's like, okay, I get it. They're trying to have a whole new spin off of it. Or like I said, the Wesker character being black instead of white. It's like, I don't know. And then it ended off where I'm like, okay, we knew it was gonna end off like this, where like the daughter, like Jade's daughter, got confronted by the alligator, and the alligator stopped and was like, and didn't eat her, did anything, kind of just went away. So like somehow her daughter got some type of powers, but we don't know. And Yeah, Billy shot Jade in the stomach instead of in the head, knowing that, it's gonna keep her alive. So it's like, okay, all right, all right. That's basically, I was like, all right, okay. But I'm still gonna watch season 2 because now I'm in it. Like I said, I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was super good. I felt indifferent. So that being said, hey, Resident Evil on Netflix. Yeah. Whatever. All right, get it out of here.